You are boring. I want excitement. My girlfriend dumped me to chase the bad boy and put me on pause. So I moved on with her sister, and now she is begging me to come back after realizing I was never the problem. I'm 28 years old. My girlfriend Amber and I had been together for 2.5 years, and I thought we were doing fine. We had a comfortable rhythm that I really loved. Netflix and takeout on weekdays, brunch on Sundays at a place with amazing Belgian waffles, occasional weekend getaways to wine country. I brought her coffee in bed every Saturday morning. 2 sugars, oat milk, exactly how she liked it. The basic boyfriend who apparently doesn't count for anything. I thought I was being a good partner. I remembered all the important dates. I surprised her with little things. I helped her move apartments. I took her to flights at 5 in the morning. I was more involved than with anyone before. After work, she'd come home with stories about her creative director, who rode a motorcycle to work. Her coworkers led incredibly cool lives, full of art openings and rooftop parties. At first, it was just work talk, but I started to notice when her tone changed, when the story stopped being about work achievements and started being about how adventurous and exciting her coworkers were. Then the comparisons began. Derek, from the creative department, saw an art installation in Brooklyn, an immersive experience about grief. When was the last time we did something cultural like that? Pablo is so passionate about his band. They play at a small venue in Queens, and he writes songs about existential angst. It's inspiring to see someone chase their dreams, you know? Maybe we should try something more adventurous. Sarah's boyfriend took her to a speakeasy with no sign. You have to know someone who knows someone. They made cocktails with herbs grown on the roof. Much more romantic than our usual dinner and a movie. I started to feel like I was auditioning for the role of boyfriend in my own relationship, so I tried. I took her to alternative galleries and converted warehouses, to hidden restaurants in neighborhoods we'd never explored. I signed us up for a pasta-making class with an old Italian woman who yelled at us in broken English, but nothing was exciting enough. The gallery was trying too hard to be avant-garde. The restaurants were fun, but not spontaneous enough, because I'd researched them beforehand. The cooking class was cute, but a bit touristy. I wasn't passionate enough. I wasn't spontaneous enough. I wasn't enough. The final blow came at her company's Christmas party 6 months ago. An industrial space in Brooklyn with exposed brick and Edison bulbs, trying too hard to be cool. I was talking to Cindy from the marketing team when this guy appears. Leather jacket over a white t-shirt, perfectly disheveled hair that took 30 minutes to achieve. Derek, the creative director. So you're the famous boyfriend, he says, looking at me as if I were a piece of furniture he was considering buying. The weakest handshake I've ever felt, like shaking a fish's hand. But Amber was beaming as he told a story about doing ayahuasca with his artist friends in the Hamptons. You should come next time, Amber. You'd love the energy. Very creative, very free. Not everyone gets it, but I think you would. He completely ignored my existence, but seeing the way she looked at him, the way she used to look at me. On the way home, she was quiet. Don't you ever just want to do something crazy? Like what? I don't know. Drop everything and drive to Vegas. Book a flight to Paris on a whim. Something spontaneous that makes you feel alive. We can plan a trip to Paris. I have vacation days. She sighed as if I had completely missed the point. It's not the same if you plan it. What's wrong with planning? Planning means we can afford it and enjoy it. But that's not the point. The point is the spontaneity. The thrill of doing something without thinking too much about it. Sounds expensive and stressful. Another sigh. You're so practical. The way she said practical sounded like it was a character flaw. That should have been my first sign we were headed for disaster. The breaking point came 3 months ago. We were sitting on my couch, the couch I'd saved for months for. A beautiful leather couch I was really proud of. We were watching a British mystery series on Netflix that we'd been following for weeks. It was a Thursday night. We had ordered Thai food from her favorite place, and I was honestly feeling pretty content with our life. Then, she suddenly pauses the show and looks at me with a serious expression. Can I ask you something? Sure. Do you think you're boring? The way she asked, as if she were genuinely curious and didn't want to hurt me, made my stomach knot up. It was worse than if she'd just thrown it in my face. It felt like a question she'd been considering for a while. I don't know, am I? It's just that we've been together for over 2 years, and sometimes I feel like we already act like we're 60. We order the same food, watch the same shows, have the same conversations. We've fallen into a routine, and it feels so safe. When was the last time I surprised you? Really surprised you? I surprised you with that weekend in the mountains last month. You told me a week in advance so I could pack the right clothes and ask for time off work. That's not a surprise, that's a plan. I looked at her, feeling something cold settle in my chest. What do you want me to do, Amber? I want to feel excited about my life again. I want to be with someone who makes my heart race. You know, someone who's passionate about something. Anything. Someone who's not so predictable. Predictable? I always know what you're going to say, how you're going to react, what you're going to want to do on weekends. There's no mystery left. So what are you saying? She was silent for a long moment, and I could see she was gathering the courage to say something she'd been thinking about for a while. Maybe we should take a break. My first instinct was to fight for her, to promise I'd change. I'd be more spontaneous, whatever she wanted. To tell her we could get through this, that every long-term relationship goes through periods where things feel routine. But there was something in the way she said it, as if she'd already made her decision and was just informing me, that stopped me. How long of a break? I don't know. Just until I clear my head. And what exactly are you trying to clear? Another long pause. I could see she was hesitating about how honest to be. There's a guy at work. Of course there was. I felt stupid for not seeing it coming. Derek? I asked, though I already knew the answer. It's not like that. We're just friends. But he's asked me out a couple of times, and I've been thinking maybe I should see what else is out there before this gets too serious. Too serious? After 2.5 years of knowing your parents, talking about moving in together, discussing wedding dates. It's not breaking up. It's just exploring our options, seeing if the grass is greener, taking some time to figure out what we really want. And if it's not, if the grass isn't greener, then maybe we'll get back together. But don't you want to know for sure? Don't you want to make sure you're choosing me and not just settling? Settling. That word was like a punch to the gut. After everything I'd done for her, everything I'd given to our relationship, she saw me as settling. I just sat there for a minute, processing. Part of me wanted to tell her to pack her bags and get out, to have some dignity and refuse to be her backup plan. But another part, the part that still loved her despite everything, wanted to give her what she was asking for. Maybe she just needed to get this out of her system. Okay, I said finally. She blinked. Okay. You want to explore your options? Explore them. But I'm going to explore mine too. That's fair, I guess. How long should we do this? As long as it takes you to figure out what you want. She leaned over and kissed my cheek, and I hated that I still felt something when she touched me. Thank you for being so understanding about this. I really think this could be good for both of us. We've been together since we were so young. Don't you want to make sure this is the right thing? Understanding? No, I wasn't being understanding. I was being accommodating to my girlfriend wanting to sleep with another guy. The next few days were weird. Amber stayed at her apartment. She had kept it even after spending most of the last year living at mine. And we were supposedly on this break where we could see other people. It all felt surreal, like I was living someone else's life. She texted me a few times, mostly for logistical things, picking up her contact lens solution from the bathroom, a couple of books she was reading, the sweater she left in my closet. Each message felt like another small piece of our relationship being dismantled. Then, on Friday, she called me. Hey, Derek invited me to a gallery opening tomorrow night. It's a new artist who does installations with found objects and LED lights. I told him yes. Okay. Are you upset? Why would I be upset? We're on a break, remember? You're exploring your options. I just want to make sure we're on the same page. We are. Have fun. After I hung up, I stood in my kitchen staring at my phone. 2.5 years, and it all came down to this. Her calling me to ask for permission to go on a date with another guy. Or maybe not permission, just to make sure I wasn't going to cause drama. I poured myself a drink and tried to figure out what I was supposed to do now. Should I download dating apps, go to bars, call up ex-girlfriends? It all seemed absurd. Then my phone rang again. This time it was Maya, Amber's younger sister. Maya and I had always gotten along well. She was 24, in her last year of a psychology grad program at Columbia, and as different from Amber as two sisters could be. While Amber was all about appearances, excitement, and being the center of attention, Maya was thoughtful, genuine, and self-assured. She was beautiful in an understated way, natural curly hair, freckles across her nose, a smile that made you feel like you were the only person in the room. She was always kind to me at family gatherings, never made me feel like I wasn't good enough for her sister. In fact, She seemed to enjoy talking to me about books and movies and ideas rather than just making polite conversation. Hey, Ryan. Weird question. Did you and Amber break up? Why do you ask? She posted something cryptic on Instagram about new adventures and being open to what the universe brings, and my mom is freaking out. Plus, she mentioned something about seeing other people when I called her yesterday, but she got weird when I asked for details. I told her the whole situation, the complaints about being boring, the coworker, the break. That was really her wanting to cheat with permission while keeping me as a safety net. Jesus Christ, Maya said when I finished. I'm so sorry. My sister can be a real idiot sometimes. It is what it is. No, seriously, it's not. You've been nothing but good to her. You know she used to call me to complain about her ex before you? The guy never remembered her birthday, never wanted to do anything but play video games, treated her like crap, and made her feel lucky to be with him. And now she's complaining that you're too good, too stable, too perfect, apparently. Too boring. You know what's boring? Dating the same type of guy over and over again because you're addicted to the drama. Dating guys who treat you like crap because you think that's what passion means. That's what's boring. We talked for another hour. Maya had always been easy to talk to, but this conversation felt different. Maybe it was because we were both frustrated with Amber. Or maybe it was because for the first time I was seeing Maya as her own person and not just as Amber's sister. She was insightful in a way Amber never was, asking thoughtful questions about how I was feeling and making observations about relationships and psychology that really made me think. Hey, she said as we were ending the call. I know this is probably the last thing you feel like doing right now, but there's a psychology conference downtown next weekend. Some really interesting speakers are talking about attachment theory and modern relationships. Want to come with me? As friends, obviously. I just thought maybe you needed to get out of the house, and you'd probably find it interesting. Yeah, actually. That sounds good. The conference was fascinating. Maya introduced me to her grad school friends, smart, engaged people, nothing like Amber's try-hard cool work crowd. We spent the day listening to talks on cognitive behavioral therapy and social psychology, about how people form bonds, and why some relationships work while others fail. It was the kind of intellectual stimulation I'd been needing without realizing it. During one presentation on compatibility in long-term relationships, the speaker talked about how couples who share core values and communication styles tend to have more success than those who are drawn to each other primarily because of their differences. She mentioned that while opposites may attract at first, similarity is what actually creates lasting bonds. I glanced over at Maya, who was taking notes like the diligent student she was, and I felt something I couldn't quite identify. Afterwards, we went to dinner at a little Italian place Maya knew. Nothing fancy or Instagram-worthy, red and white checkered tablecloths and a marinara sauce someone's grandmother had been cooking for 50 years. But the conversation was incredible. We talked about the lectures, about her research, about books we'd read, and places we wanted to travel. Maya had just come back from a semester in Barcelona, and she told me about the month she spent backpacking through small Spanish towns, staying in hostels, and practicing her Spanish with the locals. Can I ask you something? Maya said over dessert. Sure. What did you see in my sister? I thought about it honestly. She was fun, spontaneous. She dragged me to parties and events I would have never gone to on my own. She introduced me to new music, new restaurants, convinced me to try things I was nervous about. I thought that was good for me, that it helped me be more social, more adventurous. But you are social. You're just not performative about it. There's a difference. What do you mean? Amber needs an audience. She needs people to see how interesting and exciting her life is. She curates her experiences for social media. You don't need that validation. You're capable of enjoying things for what they are without showing it off. Apparently that's boring. No, that's mature. Do you know how exhausting it is to constantly need external validation? I've seen it my whole life with Amber. She can't just enjoy something. She needs to make sure everyone knows she's enjoying it. She can't just be happy. She has to perform happiness. We talked until the restaurant closed. As we were walking to our cars, Maya stopped. Ryan. Yeah. I had a really great time tonight. And not just because we were talking about my sister. Me too. Would you maybe want to do it again? But not as friends this time. I just stared at her. Maya, I don't think that's a good idea. Why not? Because you're her sister. This is already complicated enough. She was the one who decided to take a break. She's the one who wanted to explore other options. Why can't you do the same? Because it's different when it's family. Is it? We're adults. We both know what we're getting into. She was right, and I knew it. But dating my ex's sister felt like crossing a line there was no coming back from. Let me think about it, I told her. That weekend, Amber sent me a photo from Derek's gallery event. She was wearing a dress I'd never seen, something black and flowy that probably cost more than my car payment, leaning against Derek with a huge smile. The caption read, "Amazing night with amazing company. Finally feeling inspired again. New adventures living my best life." I stared at that photo for at least 10 minutes. 2.5 years together, and I had never seen her look that happy. Not even close. Not in our best moments. Not on vacations. Not at birthday dinners. Not at parties with her family. She never had that glow. An hour later, Maya texted me. Saw the Instagram post. "You okay?" "I've been better. Want to talk about it?" "I'm free tomorrow if you want to get coffee." We met at a little coffee shop near her campus. Maya was wearing jeans and a sweater, no makeup, her hair pulled back in a ponytail. She looked more beautiful than Amber had ever looked in her perfectly planned outfits. "So," she said, settling in with her latte. "Still thinking about what I said?" "Yeah, and I'm scared of messing up your family." "My family is already messed up. My parents have been divorced twice. Amber's dating history reads like a cautionary tale. And my brother hasn't spoken to us in 3 years because he thinks we're all emotionally unavailable. Adding a little more chaos isn't going to break anything." "Maya, look, I get it. This is weird. But we're good together. You know it. I know it. And honestly, after seeing how Amber treated you for months, criticizing everything about you and making you feel like you weren't enough, maybe it's time for someone to appreciate you for who you are." "And you do? Are you kidding? You're smart. You're kind. You're stable in all the best ways. You actually listen when people talk. You remember the things that matter. You're present. Do you know how rare that is? Rare enough to risk your relationship with your sister?" "My relationship with my sister has been complicated long before you came along. Amber and I have never been close. We're too different. She thinks I'm boring because I'd rather read a book than go to a club. I think she's exhausting because she turns every day into a performance." She reached out and took my hand. "I like you, Ryan. I've liked you for a while, but you were with my sister, so I kept it to myself. Now you're not with her, and she's the one who made that choice. So what's stopping us?" I looked at our hands together, and something clicked inside me. Maya was right. Amber had made her choice. She wanted excitement and adventure and passion. She wanted Derek and his leather jacket and his underground art galleries and his artist friends doing ayahuasca on the beach. Fine. She could have it. "Okay," I said. "Okay. Yeah, let's do it. But let's keep it between us for now. I don't need the drama of your family finding out before we even know what this is." Maya smiled. "Deal." Our first official date was that Wednesday. Maya chose a cozy little wine bar in her neighborhood that I didn't know about, the kind of place you'd walk right by if you didn't know to look for the small wooden sign. Live jazz music, exposed brick walls, candles flickering on tiny tables. Nothing flashy or Instagram-worthy, just good wine and even better conversation. We talked about everything. Her research on cognitive dissonance and how it applies to modern relationships, my thoughts on emerging technology and whether AI will eventually replace human connection, the books we'd read, the places we wanted to travel, our fears about getting older, our theories on what makes people happy. "You know what I like most about this?" Maya said as we were sharing a cheese board. "What?" "I don't feel like I'm performing. With most guys I date, there's this constant pressure to be on, to be witty and charming and perfect, to have opinions on everything and make sure those opinions are interesting enough to keep their attention. With you, I can just be myself." I was just thinking the same thing. "See? We already communicate better than you and my sister ever did." She was right. Talking to Maya was effortless in a way it never was with Amber. With Amber, I was always trying to say the right thing, to be interesting enough to hold her attention, to prove I wasn't as boring as she seemed to think I was. With Maya, the conversation just flowed. We could disagree without it turning into an argument. We could be quiet without it feeling awkward. We went back to her apartment afterwards. Nothing happened. We just talked until 2 in the morning about everything and nothing. Her place was exactly what I would have imagined. Bookshelves filled with books, plants in every corner, comfortable furniture that looked lived in, not like it was from a catalog. It felt like a home, not a stage. When I finally left, Maya walked me to the door. I like you a lot, she said, standing on her tiptoes to kiss my cheek. I like you a lot too. Same time next week? Definitely. I floated back to my apartment, feeling better than I had in months. When I got to my apartment, I had a text from Amber waiting for me. How are you? I know this is weird for both of us. I stared at the message. 3 days ago, I would have poured my heart out to her. I would have told her I missed her, that it was hard seeing her with someone else, that I wanted to fix things. But now, after spending the evening with Maya, all I felt was, nothing. I'm good. Hope you're having fun. She replied right away. Wow. You seem pretty cool with all this. What do you want me to say, Amber? I don't know. I guess I expected you to be more upset, more jealous. Would that make you feel better? She didn't reply. Maya and I continued to see each other in secret for the next month. Every Wednesday became our night, plus weekends when we could. She introduced me to her grad school friends, and I found myself actually enjoying the academic conversations about research methodology and statistical analysis. Maya introduced me to new restaurants, new ideas, and new ways of thinking about the world. The intimacy was incredible too, but in a completely different way than it had been with Amber. With Amber, sex felt like a performance, like she was always thinking about how she looked or sounded, whether she was being adventurous enough. With Maya, it was intimate, real, focused on connection. She was present in a way Amber never was, focused on the experience, not the appearance. Meanwhile, Amber's Instagram was a constant barrage of posts with Derek. Derek at the farmer's market, looking moody and artistic while picking out heirloom tomatoes. Derek with his band, playing at some dark Brooklyn bar, all leather and sweat and dramatic lighting. Derek teaching her how to ride his motorcycle, both in matching leather jackets like they were cosplaying a millennial version of Easy Rider. The captions were getting more and more over the top. Living my best life, finally feeling Olivia Vegan. And my personal favorite, sometimes you have to risk it all for love. No regrets, follow your heart, authenticity, risk it all for love, I said one night as we were cooking at Maya's place. She always falls so fast and so hard. Maya peered over my shoulder at the Instagram post I was showing her, Amber and Derek at some underground club, both with serious, important expressions. Oh yeah, Amber is addicted to the honeymoon phase. She gets bored as soon as things become routine, so she seeks out guys who seem mysterious and exciting. But the mystery is almost always just emotional unavailability, and the excitement is just drama. How long does it usually last? With Derek? I give it 3 months, max. He's got that whole mysterious bad boy thing going on, but underneath all that leather and attitude, I'm sure he's just as normal as anyone else. When Amber realizes that, when the novelty wears off and she sees that he has his own issues and insecurities too, she'll start looking for the next shiny thing. And then what? Then she'll realize she messed up something good and she'll try to get you back. That's not going to happen. Maya smiled and kissed me. I know, but she doesn't know that yet. And she was right about the timeline. 2 months into Amber and Derek's passionate romance, the Instagram posts started to change. Less gushing about how amazing Derek was, more generic platitudes about self-care and finding yourself. Centering myself, remembering what really matters, learning that some is the best adventure alone, grateful for this journey of self-discovery. Maya and I were at dinner when Amber posted a photo of herself alone at a coffee shop, staring thoughtfully out the window like she was in an indie movie. The caption read, "Sometimes you need space to think. Growth requires solitude. Blessed self-discovery, trouble in paradise," Maya observed. Should I feel bad that I don't care? No. You've moved on. That's healthy. And I had moved on. Completely. Being with Maya showed me everything I'd been missing with Amber. Real intimacy, genuine compatibility, someone who valued me for who I was instead of trying to change me. Someone who didn't need our relationship to look exciting from the outside, as long as it felt good on the inside. So I wasn't entirely surprised when Amber called me the following Tuesday. "Hey, stranger," she said, trying to sound casual but not quite succeeding. "How have you been?" "Good. You?" "I've been better. Listen, I was wondering if you'd want to get coffee sometime. Just to talk." "Talk about what?" "Us. This whole break thing. I think I've learned some things about myself, and I'd like to share them with you." I almost laughed. Maya was literally lying next to me, reading an article for her thesis while I was on this call. "I don't think that's a good idea, Amber." "Why not?" I thought the point of this break was for us both to figure out what we wanted. I have figured out what I want. Silence. Oh, you're seeing someone. Yeah. Who is it? Her voice turned sharp. Do I know her? I glanced at Maya, who was pretending to read but was obviously listening to every word. It's complicated. What does that mean, Ryan? We were together for 2.5 years. I think I deserve to know who you're seeing. We're on a break, remember? You wanted to explore your options. I'm exploring mine. But this was supposed to be temporary. We were supposed to figure things out and get back together. That was always the plan. That was your plan. I never agreed to that. I could hear her starting to cry. Please, can we just meet? I made a mistake. Derek isn't who I thought he was. He's actually really shallow and self-absorbed. He only cares about his image and his art and whether people think he's cool. He doesn't care about me as a person. I'm sorry to hear that. You're sorry? You don't sound sorry. You sound like you don't care at all. I don't know what you want me to say, Amber. I want you to fight for me. I want you to care that I'm hurting. I want you to tell me we can fix this. Maya looked up from her article, her eyebrows raised. I can't do that, I said. Why not? Because I'm happy. Happier than I've been in a long time. And I'm not giving that up to go back to someone who thinks I'm boring. I don't think you're boring anymore. I realize now that what I thought was boring was actually stability and consistency and all the things I should value in a partner. But you don't value them. You value excitement and drama and feeling like you're in a movie. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not what I want. I could be what I want. I've changed. No, you haven't. You just realized that dating an asshole isn't as fun as you thought it would be. But in 6 months, when things get routine with me again, you'll start getting restless and bored again. That's not true. It is, and we both know it. She was quiet for a long moment. So that's it. You're just giving up on us. You gave up on us 3 months ago when you decided I wasn't enough for you. I'm just making it official. But I love you. I loved you too. Past tense. After I hung up, Maya put down her notebook and looked at me. How do you feel? She asked. Relieved. Good. She needed to hear that. Was I too harsh? No. You were honest. Sometimes honesty sounds harsh, but it was what she needed. The calls continued for the next few days. Amber left long, rambling voicemails about how she'd changed and how we could make it work if I just gave her another chance. She had mutual friends text me about what a great girl she was and how I was throwing something special away. Our friend Jessica called to tell me Amber was having a really hard time and maybe I should reconsider. My friend Mike texted to tell me Amber had been asking him if I was seeing anyone. I ignored all of it. 2 weeks later, Maya and I were having lunch at a little bistro downtown when Amber walked in with her mother. I saw them before they saw us. For a second I considered asking for the check and leaving, but Maya took my hand. No, she said. We have nothing to hide. She was right. We were 2 adults on a date. We weren't doing anything wrong. Amber spotted us about 30 seconds later. Her expression went from confusion to pure rage in under 3 seconds. She said something to her mother, who looked at us with obvious discomfort, and then she stormed over to our table. Are you kidding me? Amber snapped, loud enough for half the restaurant to turn and look. Hi. Amber, Maya said calmly, not letting go of my hand. How long has this been going on? About 2 months, I replied. 2 months? We've been on a break for 3 months. You were dating my sister a month after we broke up? We didn't break up. You wanted to explore your options, remember? I explored mine. Not with my sister. Amber, please, her mother said, appearing at her side. People are looking. So? Let them look. My boyfriend is dating my own sister. Ex-boyfriend, Maya corrected. And it's not cheating if you broke up with him first. Amber turned on her. You've always been jealous of me. You've always wanted what I have. I'm not jealous of you, Maya said, her tone serene. I pity you. You pity me? I'm not the one who has to steal her sister's sloppy seconds. That's when I'd had enough. Maya didn't steal anything, I said, standing up. You threw me away because you thought you could find something better. Maya saw my worth when you didn't. That's not stealing. That's having good judgment. She's my sister. Amber retorted. You're her sister. Did you think about that when you were posting pictures of Derek all over social media? Did you think about how that might affect Maya, watching you throw away someone she cared about for some guy in a leather jacket? Amber blinked. She cared about you? Maya stood up next to me. I've had a crush on Ryan since the first time you brought him home for Christmas. But he was with you, so I respected that. You were the one who decided he wasn't good enough for you. You don't get to be angry that someone else saw his value. This is messed up. You're both messed up. No, I said. What's messed up is that you thought you could put me on hold while you tried out other guys, and then expect me to still be there when you realized you made a mistake. I didn't put you on hold. That's exactly what you did. You wanted to see if Derek was better than me, and when he turned out to be the exact shallow asshole he seemed to be, you decided you wanted me back. But I'm not a backup plan, Amber. I'm not your safety net. Ryan, please. We had something real. We did. And you decided it wasn't enough. That's not my fault. It's not Maya's fault. It's your fault. Amber started to cry, right there in the middle of the restaurant. Her mother put an arm around her and started to lead her towards the exit. This isn't over, Amber said over her shoulder. Yes, it is, Maya replied. After they left, Maya and I sat back down. The entire restaurant was still staring at us. Well, Maya said, that went better than expected. I laughed. How was that better than expected? She didn't throw anything. Good point. Are you okay? Maya asked. I thought about it. Seeing Amber upset should have affected me. 6 months ago it would have destroyed me. But now, sitting across from Maya, all I felt was a vague sense of pity. Yeah, I said. I'm okay. Are you? I'm great. My sister has always been dramatic. This is just a regular Tuesday for her. Your parents are going to find out about us now. Good. I'm tired of hiding. We're not doing anything wrong. She was right. We weren't. The fallout was swift and predictable. Amber launched a full-scale campaign to turn everyone against us. She told anyone who would listen that Maya had seduced me while we were on a break, that I was a heartless bastard who had never really loved her. Most people saw through it right away. Our mutual friends knew Amber had left me for Derek. They had seen her Instagram posts about her amazing new adventure. It's hard to play the victim when you've documented your own infidelity on social media. Maya's parents, surprisingly, took it in stride. Her mother called to make sure we were both okay and to apologize for Amber's public scene. Her father invited me over to watch football the following Sunday like nothing had happened. Amber's always been the dramatic one, he told me during halftime. Maya's got a good head on her shoulders. You treat her right. I will. I know. You treated Amber right too, even when she didn't deserve it. Meanwhile, Amber was in a freefall. The Derek thing had apparently ended badly. According to Maya, he dumped her for a 22-year-old performance artist he met at a gallery opening. Amber moved back in with her parents and started posting increasingly unhinged rants on social media about fake people and family betrayal. She tried to get me fired by calling my boss and claiming I was emotionally unstable after the breakup. My boss, who had met Maya at the company Christmas party and loved her, laughed it off. One night she showed up at my apartment at 2 in the morning, drunk and crying, begging me to take her back. I called Maya, who came over and helped me convince Amber to let her drive her home instead of having to call the police. She needs therapy, Maya said afterwards. Professional help, not more drama and social media validation. Will she get it? I asked. Eventually, when she runs out of other options.